Hello, my patrons on Patreon, patreon.com/drawing the circle. Let's get this out of the way. My humans, heroes, angels, witches, immortals, gods, goddesses. At the time of this recording, MABON, autumnal equinox, September 2022. I've got my son Melchior over here. I think all you can see is his tail. There he is. Just jumped up. A little feline intervention goes a long way here. And eventually to the rest of the people in the internet, on YouTube and elsewhere that may come across this video at any given time. I am a creator on Patreon. They get the advanced stuff. This is the advanced stuff. They get to see it as soon as it's ready to roll. As soon as it's ready to publish, they get it on Patreon in like a week or so, usually on a Wednesday night. I release it sometimes as a live stream on YouTube, so you can come chat, and I hope you are, and maybe we're doing that, I don't know. So let's get down to business. I do these kind of things mostly full moons, new moons, and the solar Sabbats of the pagan wheel of the year. So we are doing this for MABON, autumnal equinox, September 2022, and a little piece of magic, miracles, mysticism. It's not necessarily a spell, but it could be, right? It's not necessarily a prayer, but it could be. It's not necessarily a magical tool, but it could be a crown jewel. So I have here on my cell phone a Google Doc with the outline, standard outline that I've been working with for a while. I can always change it, and I sometimes do. I'm going to read through it for you first so that you know what's going to happen to a certain extent, a general outline. I'm going to read you the chant, the spell, the mantra, whatever you want to call it. But I will say now, before we do this, that this one's going to be a little bit more subtle. We're going to be dealing with the Crown Chakra, the seventh Sabbat. We'll talk about all of that, right? MABON, all that connected. So, welcome. Check. We're going to do an opening prayer and the statement of purpose. We'll do that in a few minutes. Going to put up a picture and some music so you can kind of just chill out and unwind. Then the statement of purpose, which is to honor MABON and create a crown jewel. We'll get into that. We're going to talk a little bit of a lecture talking about the MABON, M-A-B-O-N, autumnal equinox, and its connection to the seventh chakra. It is the seventh Sabbat of the pagan wheel of the year. The last would be Samhain, around Halloween, but not exactly Halloween. Connecting to that crown chakra. If you've been watching my stuff, you already know what I'm talking about. And we're going to talk about the crown chakra a little bit, about the second harvest, spiritual thanksgiving, the more astrological aspects of it. Persephone descending, we'll talk about her going down into the underworld. She's already down at the time of this recording. The sacred truth, we got a lot. We're going to cover a lot of that, even the violet flame and Archangel Zadkiel and all that. We're just going to touch on those briefly just for context. The sacred graces of the crown chakra, we'll get there. So, the tools that we will be using is a jewel. I'll explain that when we get to that, but I'm using a piece of lepidolite, a lepidolite heart, and that is really the only tool, except, of course, if you want to use some, you do you, it is an art form. We'll talk about the other suggested stones when we get to that. I am working with frankincense oil, which is in this little blue vial I'm wearing around my neck. So I have it literally right there when I need it. You can use any solar oil, like I said, we'll talk about that when we get there. And then we get down to the actual working. I'm going to juice up the altar in what's called an altar devotion, devote energy, charge up the altar that I've got here in front of me. Going to cleanse and consecrate the crown jewel. Like I said, I'm using a lepidolite. Anoint and empower, which means I'm going to anoint it with the same oil that all the candles are anointed with. For that, and chant, and I have here the spell. Well, is it a spell? It's a prayer, it's a mantra, it's whatever you want it to be. And by the way, my patrons, you already know this, have access to this unlisted Google link, so they get to see the different drafts of this as it develops over the day. This one wrote itself pretty quickly, as well as my Facebook friends in the Angelo Lyons Mel for short private Facebook group. It's private, which means you can find it, but you don't know who's in there or what we post. because I'm a Virgo. Cross your legs. Then we will actually do the spell itself. I didn't even put the word spell in the title because I don't feel like it is. I feel like it's more of a spiritual practice. And you have a touchstone, a spiritual tool, whatever you want to call it, for gratitude. And we'll talk about that. Gratitude and its connection to the crown chakra. There's a lot there. So let's go back to the top of that checklist, Virgo that I am. Let's do a little opening prayer, just a little meditation thing, because, you know, I don't know where you've been before you got here, right? To live in present time, which is a big part of the crown chakra. The sacred truth of the crown chakra is live in present time. So I will pop up a picture and I will put on some music and kick back a little bit. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. And just check in. Check in with your body. It's always good to start with the body, right? If you're doing this with candles around, just make sure everything's safe. So if you want to close your eyes, you can. You don't have to worry about it, right? If you nod off, you nod off safely. That's sort of the external perimeter. Now check in inside the body, right? What needs to shift? I always start at the top of my head, giving a gentle permission for each body part as I work my way down. To relax, to rest, right? A little neck roll, a little shoulder shrug. Of course, as you relax, the muscles and the bones might need to readjust. Of course, you do what you need to do. So that the body is still here, it's still present, we're still grounded, we're not astral projecting or anything. But we are going to be going up into the crown chakra, which means the more stable and solid the body is, the more we can trust. Oh, that it'll be there when we come back to it, right? So, just nice and calm, nice and gentle, the body relaxing. Now just breathe. And, you know, the sun is in 0 degrees Libra. It's the first day of autumn, at least in the northern hemisphere. So cardinal air, creative air, king of swords in the tarot. To just breathe in the present moment. As far as I can figure, I don't know how to breathe in the present moment in the past or in the future, so I can only really focus on my breath in the now. And to enjoy that breath, to savor it, to let it move the oxygen and the carbon dioxide and the nitrogen and all of those billions of other microbiological, physiological functions to take care of themselves. Enoki. So that we can relax and we can feel our energy fields like petals of a flower gently loosening up. We're in a safe space, but to do that for sure, I offer this prayer. As I call upon our collective pantheons of the divine, our guides, our masters, our teachers, our gods, our goddesses, our saints, our angels, our totems, our healers, our ancestors, our own higher selves, all the way back to the divine singularity, the Tao without name, the mother of all, source, to surround each and every one of us participating in this spiritual act of art, mystical spiritual art, live or later, whatever they're catching this, in a force field of light, containing and protecting our energy field, so that all information and energy that exchanges between us does so clearly, cleanly, in a balanced way with this Libra energy going on for the well-being of all. And as ever, on a personal note, use me. All aspects, known and unknown, conscious mind, subconscious mind, unconscious mind, higher self, soul, personality, ego, whatever needs being used here, use me. Make me the channel of guidance, grace, love, wisdom, and power you sent me in here to be. Because every time I do this and every time I ask that you help me, I get a little bit better. And ain't we all? This is one of us steps forward, all of us move forward. And may this be the best thing I have ever done, but not the best thing I will ever do. Because we're all on a journey home, step by step, bit by bit. And may we find the balance of MABON, the spiritual Thanksgiving, the opening of the Crown Chakra with wisdom and illumination, and fulfillment of a plan better than anything we can even mentally imagine or conceive, for the well-being of all, and with harm to none. As we will it, so let it be done. So would it be. And so it is. Take a minute. Breathe yourself, in case you did, astral project or whatever. Jump a timeline, jump back. Check yourself, Ground, center, wiggle fingers, wiggle toes, and we're going to keep moving along. Lecture, bullet point lecture, MABON. MABON is the autumnal equinox. It's one of the 4 that everybody knows. They don't always call it MABON. I think it was more of a Celtic thing, honestly, MABON, but called by many things, obviously, by many different traditions. The first day of fall, the first official day of fall, but astrologically when the sun is in 0, and then the first degree of Libra, right? The scales, 7th house dynamic, justice, balance, partnerships, romance, contracts, you know the deal. Very ruled by Venus, so that's why we've got Eros and Aphrodite on the table here in front of me. You might have seen them in the picture there that I popped up. So, of course, the 7th, I have correlated the 7th Sabbath of MABON with the 7th chakra. The Crown Chakra rules Yule, starting in the root chakra, Samhain in the 8th chakra, hovering over the head. And the name of the Crown Chakra in Sanskrit is Sahasrara, S-A-H-A, Sahasrara, S-A-H-A-S-R-A-R-A, and it means 1,000-petaled, like a lotus, the 1,000-petaled lotus, which we will talk about. It is also the second harvest. The first harvest is Lughnasadh, third eye, Lughnasadh Lamas, loaf mass, right? The threshing of the wheat. This is the second harvest, right? It's more the harder vegetables, right? We're going to be picking apples and pumpkins and gourds, oh my. At least here on the East Coast, New York, United States. So it is spiritual Thanksgiving. It really is. Like, gratitude is a big one for me. My favorite Sabbath of all time is Beltane, no question. I started drawing the circle productions on Beltane. But MABON is definitely my second. Because Thanksgiving in the United States is really thanks gluttony. I mean, look, if you say a gratitude prayer every day, wonderful. But this is the season. This is really where we can look back at the seeds we planted at Yule last year and see, what we have harvested, at least the wisdom of it, right? Location, location, location. We've come a long way since December of last year. So a little hindsight, we do that more at Samhain, but we'll get there in a month and a half. Like I said, it is cardinal air, creative air, like creative thought. And that would be the King of Swords in tarot, if you want like a tarot card to focus on. That's according to Juliet Sharman Burke, the Mythic Tarot, and she fixed the court cards for me in my brain, and I'm very, very thankful for that. Persephone, maiden of spring, lady of summer, is now queen and wife in the underworld. And for 6 months, she spends, half the year there, and I love her, Persephone underground. So there is a lot going on, and my mom just messaged me because I think we found the right house up in Saratoga at the time of this recording, but who knows? Leave that back. That's why I have the phone on silent. If she calls, it doesn't matter. I'm not talking to my mom on camera. Blessed be. Yeah. Well, I guess Demeter's already missing Persephone, right? She's calling. Everything okay? The sacred truth of the Crown Chakra: live in present time. Be here now, right? How would Eckhart Tolle, Zen Buddhism, pick one, right? Eastern, Western. The point of power is always in the present moment. Louise Hay, right? You can heal your life. It's certainly not a new concept. It's ancient, actually, and it's totally the truth. in the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. And a lot of this, yes, I learned from Anatomy of the Spirit by Carolyn Mace, MYSS. She's a PhD, mace.com. Just go check it out. Her work. I've never met her. Don't need to. Would like to. Just say thank you and then move on, because she's one of the few people on the planet Earth that intimidate me. Her and Chrissy Hines from The Pretenders. Like, those are the only two, and I love and respect them, practically worship them. So, in that book, she takes the chakras and aligns it with the Christian sacraments and the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. So, in the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, this is Kether or Keter. I've heard it said a bunch of different ways. Spirit and inspiration. That's the divine power being developed there. The sacrament, extreme unction, last rites, and absolution. So there's a lot about forgiveness up here that we're not really going to touch upon in this particular act of spiritual whatever, but certainly I'm going to mention the violet flame of the crown chakra. If you Google, if you even go into YouTube, put in the words violet flame and Saint Germain, which rhymes a little bit, right? You're going to get more than you bargained for, seriously. And the archangel, at least in my angelic cosmology connected with the crown chakra, is Zadkiel, Zadkiel, the angel of mercy. And when you hear what we're doing, that will click into place. So the graces associated, there is a deadly sin in every chakra, as well as there is a holy grace, however you want to play that out, the lead to gold, shadow to light, blah, 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 the alchemy of it all. Well, sloth is the deadly sin, and I have to say it's my favorite of the 7 deadly sins. You don't have to do much, really. But really, it's about not acting on and incarnating the wisdom that you already know. Like, how long are you going to wait to forgive something, right? How long are you going to wait to heal, right? That, putting the action, the wisdom, the grace of wisdom into action, right? And illumination. Illumination is really such a high point on the path of spiritual awakening, and we don't walk around totally illuminated all the time in our experience, and yet that divine light is the truth of who we are. But that's another conversation. There. We covered our bullet points for the lecture, just so you have a little context. Other stuff, if you want to look into it, you can always private message me, and eventually I'll be teaching in an actual classroom again, and probably streaming it too, whatever, we'll see. I don't know, it's crown chakra stuff. The tools. I'm only using, really, technically a tool of the lepidolite that I'm going to be using, and this oil, aside from all the other stuff I got on the table. But in case you are interested, amethyst would work just as well. Clear quartz does everything. You can always put a clear quartz on your crown, obviously. Purple fluorite is a personal friend of mine. I love purple fluorite. Brings order out of chaos, which is a long story there, but that's that. But I am going to be using lepidolite. So I looked up the name. The origin is from the Greek lepidion, scale, like Libra. I'm not kidding. Scale, that's what it means. And lithos, stone. So it's a scale stone. I didn't know that 48 hours ago. I know it now. I was going right up there, and think about it. Left brain, right brain, crown chakra balance. Okay. That's why I don't know how much I create this, or I am just the channel through which it comes, whatever. And certainly you could use sugilite. I like sugilite. We got sugilite beads up there on Zeus. I wear those for the Sagittarius reads. I love me some sugilite, but really whatever works. And I'm only using a stone as really a reminder. Is it a magical tool? Sure. Is it a prayer thing? Sure. Whatever you want. Carry it with you. Hot glue it. Get some wig glue. Find a drag queen. Get some wig glue, right? So glue that thing into the top of your head. Walk around with it. You don't have to do that. And certainly I'm going to use this as a type of gratitude stone. Rhonda Byrne white courtesy telephone. That I could put on any chakra or anywhere I feel like it. Or let's say where I'm inspired to put it, which doesn't sound better, but actually is. The oils, as I said, I'm going to use frankincense oil, and I use Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs as my astrological element herb and oil guide. There are so many different opinions on the magical uses of oil. I think you find what works for you and you stick with it. I use frankincense for solar work. It's definitely Apollo vibe, right? Solar energy. So I use it, and I even put it in my mud mask that I make myself, because it just really works and does quite a job on ingrown hairs, I'll say that. So yeah, then we just have the working. That's all explanation. Now we get down to, you know, the divination, which means interacting with the divine, which we're going to sort of do. So, buckle up. Buckle up. We're going to do this. I have been doing altar devotions and all this stuff for decades and decades and decades. I taught people how to do it, and there's a lot of cool stuff on Vimeo. If you're not, well, if you're one of my gods, goddesses, if you're on Patreon, there are different levels. You can get all the Vimeo classes that I got on there, depending on which ones you subscribe for. But let's do that. We'll devote the altar. So just so you know, I've got a abalone shell with some white sage in it. I have got a Himalayan salt a candle holder with a white tea light anointed clockwise with the frankincense oil. I have got holy water over here. The Cancerian full moon water we made back in January 2022. I have got a cup here of different resins that I've ground together. What's dominant in here, though, is a little bit of white sage and honey amber. And I think I might even have some frankincense in there, too. Nice chunka. So I got air, fire, water, and earth. I got the stone on a pentacle. I got my torch of Archangel Ariel. So, and a lighter. So, let's do this. Let's, I don't think I'll need my glasses for this, which is nice. Still haven't gotten my contact lens yet. Ready? Here we go. Please take a nice deep breath. It's witching time. Still point. And here we go. Inflammare. O creature of air, I do cleanse and consecrate thee in the names of the mighty ones of the East, removing all negativity from you in this world and in all worlds. Blessings be upon you now. So let it be. O creature of fire, I do cleanse and consecrate thee by the mighty ones of the South, casting out all negativity from you in this world and in all worlds. Blessings be upon you now. So mote it be. O creature of water, I do cleanse and consecrate thee in the names of the mighty ones of the West, casting out all negativity from you in this world and in all worlds. Blessings be upon you now. So let it be. Tingle, 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 tingle. O creature of earth, I do cleanse and consecrate thee in the names of the mighty ones of the north, casting out all negativity from you in this world and in all worlds. Blessings be upon you now. So may it be. Béni soit la Sainte Fumée. Béni soit la Sainte Fumée. Béni soit la Sainte Fumée. Here we go. Still point. Water and earth, air and fire combine to transform and inspire, align us with divine desire. Our highest work we now require, elements guide so that we may be on our paths and on them stay. We ask thee now, show us the way of what the divine desires this day, O Lady High. O consort bright, illumine this working with your light, for the well-being of all, with harm to none, as we will it. So let it be done. So mote it be. And so it is. Keep going. I'm going to cleanse and consecrate the lepidolite. Jazz it up a little first. Have fun. O creature of air, I do cleanse and consecrate this lepidolite heart, fill in the blank, by the power of air, removing all negativity from it in every time and place. I cleanse and consecrate this lepidolite heart by the element of fire, removing all negativity from it in every time and place. I cleanse and consecrate this lepidolite heart by the power of water, removing all negativity from it in every time and place. It's going to be sticky, sticky. And I cleanse and consecrate all this lepidolite heart by the power of earth, removing all negativity from it in every time and place. If you've been watching for a while, you know what time it is. It's Dragon Ball Z time. Spirit Bomb. Here we go. Ooh, kitty kitty. I do cleanse and consecrate this lepidolite heart by the power of spirit, removing all negativity from it in every time and place. For the well-being of all, with harm to none. As I will it, so let it be done. So let it be. Anoint and empower. Frankincense oil on there. Oh, so good. Just there right there. Whoa. I now empower this lepidolite heart that it be a vehicle, a vessel, a touchstone, a reminder of the gratitude of the crown jewel, of the grace of wisdom and the grace of illumination, my true spiritual power, that it may aid me in my acts of awakening, inspiration, navigation, my relationship with the divine and my own true self, for the well-being of all, in fulfillment of the great, ineffable plan for Paradise Planet Earth that I am now. So mote it be. And so it is. Breathe. Take a minute, let the music drift away. Yeah. Wiggle fingers, wiggle toes, if you need to, obviously. Let me read you what we're going to do next. We're actually going to do the crown jewel. We're going to make the crown jewel. I'm going to read it. There's some slight directions here. There's a mantra involved. Oh, because the mantra we're going to be using as part of this magic act, it's optional. You don't have to do it. Is Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, which means the jewel in the lotus. So there is that Eastern flavor about that. I can't believe I didn't schedule that to talk about that earlier, but we'll talk about that. So I'm going to read it through once, just all the way through, and then I'll go over it line by line. A crown jewel, jewel in the lotus, sacred crown, illumined wisdom I draw down, with blessings now of gratitude, open the petals, attitude, right, 1,000-petaled lotus. That I may live in present time in the repeating of this rhyme. My crowning lotus now shine bright, lit by the crown jewel's sacred light. All right, that's the basic, that's the bulk of it. We're going to say that through 3 times, and then we'll say the mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. You don't have to say it, but I'm going to do it 7 times. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si. That's the note I'm going to try and do, and usually I have perfect pitch as long as I do that first. 7th chakra, Om Mani Padme Hum, 7 times, and then we'll end with, for the well-being of all with harm to none, as I will it, so let it be done. And if you, this is what happens when you're in my Facebook group or on Patreon. There's actually, I have on here links to Wikipedia and Yogapedia going into the meaning of Om Mani Padme Hum. Many different interpretations. Sanskrit does that. One word can have 10 billion different meanings. Well, 10 billion is a bit much, but you know what I'm saying. Okay. So it is magic time. I am psyched to do this again. Is this a spell? Is it a mantra? Is it a spiritual practice? You do you. I just take down through that crown chakra the inspiration from the 8th and bring it all the way down into the root chakra like everybody else, right? From 8th chakra to root, it's creativity, right? Bringing things down into physical form. Reverse direction, it's alchemy from experience into wisdom, right? So it's always that two-way street going on. Ida, Pingala, Sushumna. You do you. Oh, and I don't need this part for this. Why? Because I wrote it in my red book. You sure I did, and I've been trying to memorize it. Even though it came through me, doesn't mean I wrote it, right? It just came through me. So I'm going to do this the best that I can. So the first time we're going to read the first part of it, that part before we do the mantras, 3 times. First time we just say it to say it, right? To feel the words in your mouth, it's nice to do. Second time you put your heart into it. A little emotion, you don't have to be like, unless you are, you don't have to go there. But, put a little oomph into it. Third time, this is Crown Chakra. I'm not looking to wake up the people in the neighborhood, right? But to really kind of go for it. So this is sort of like a repeat after me. But if there is this gap and this silence, just understand the third eye has language. The crown chakra does not. The crown chakra does not deal in language. It is a still, silent place. It is the witness of the thoughts, if you want to go all, Eckhart Tolle, power of now. The spirit of who we are, a spiritual power. So don't worry, I'll come back. But to fall into those gaps of stillness and silence is just everything. It is the truth of who we are. And, like I said, you do you. So bear with me. I'll be sleeping with this on the pillow, literally on my head tonight. It's like we're going to get a chin strap for it. So let's have some fun with this. Ready? 3 times. First me, then you. Breathe. And still point. I want you in my hand for this. Let's take a moment. Right, I'll put up the picture and the music. So you can just breathe. You got your rock, your stone, whatever you got, or nothing at all, that's okay too. And here we go. Jewel in the lotus. Sacred crown. Illumined wisdom. I draw down. With blessings now of gratitude, open the petals, attitude, that I may live in present time, in the repeating of this rhyme. My crowning lotus now shine bright, lit by the crown jewels, sacred light. Breathe. One more time. Round 2. Jewel in the lotus, sacred crown, illumined wisdom, I draw down. With blessings now of gratitude, open the petals, attitude, that I may live in present time, in the repeating of this rhyme. My crowning lotus now shine bright, lit by the crown jewel, sacred light. Breathe. Third time's the charm. Let him have it. Jewel in the lotus, sacred crown, illuminated wisdom, I draw down. With blessings now of gratitude, open the petals, attitude, that I may live in present time, in the repeating of this rhyme. My crowning lotus now shine bright, lit by the crown jewels, sacred light. Om Mani Padme Hum. Do Re Mi Fa Sol La Si. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. For the well-being of all, with harm to none, as we will it, so let it be done. it be. So it is. Just be still and know. And breathe. So, as you can, take your time, wiggle fingers, wiggle toes, do what you gotta do. Open your eyes if you close them. Gently, gently, gently. See, because the jewel in the sacred lotus, Om Mani Padme Hum, is compassion and mercy. It's very Kuan Yin. It's very Divine Mother. Mother of all. Lower three chakras, very divine masculine. Or third eye crown, very divine feminine, very goddess energy. And that eighth chakra just transcends all that, huh? And that's Samhain. So think about that. That compassion. The compassion, yeah, there's compassion and mercy in many different ways, but think of that crown chakra, knowing unity consciousness, perpetual, ascended, perpetual, exalted unity consciousness, crown chakra level of consciousness, a lot. But then there's just always that stillness and that silence of that still point. To feel those petals open. And sometimes you do. You get the little tingly, pricklies in the crown chakra. Download, ding, ding, ding. Okay, so now we're going to close this up. I don't think I need any reminders for this. That was a lot. Yeah, we are going to close this down with just a little grounding prayer, a little meditation, just set you loose on the world. What if you're doing this before work? That's not fair to your coworkers. Right? No, I'm going to ground. I'm going to say thank you to the Pantheons, and I really hope you enjoyed this. And, for my patrons, thank you so much. If it wasn't for you, I don't know that I'd be doing this, but who knows why we do what we do. Reason is a human creation, pretty much stops at the third eye, right? Eighth chakra, seventh chakra and above. It's all a mystery. Hence mysticism, and why I'm glad to be a mystical artist here on Patreon, etc. I'll probably say it again at the end of the video. So, one last time. Take a moment. Check in. Alright, I'll put up the picture and the music again, because I like it. And again, just check in with the body, right? So it's comfortable. A little bit more grounding this time. And yeah, go right into the breath. I'm going to light the sage again, because this smells pretty. Extra that special sauce on there. Still point. As I call upon our collective pantheons of the divine, our guides, masters, teachers, gods, goddesses, saints, angels, totems, healers, and ancestors, we are just thank you. I am truly thankful and truly grateful that we can use gratitude in the way that we do, that we can, to give thanks. The spiritual thanksgiving of MABON, the crown chakra, but now with this crown jewel, we can certainly do it anywhere, anytime, any place, as of our own free will. So thank you for the force field of light containing and protecting the work that we shared together, and may it weather well throughout time and space to whenever anyone is catching this, even if it's, years later, or, Samhain tide, or, the middle of summer or whatever, that this may be a blessing upon them. And of course, as always, on a personal note, thank you so much for using me. I mean, it's an odd gig to be a mystical artist, but I'm so honored and so truly grateful and truly thankful to Archangel Ariel, right? And the archangels in my pantheons of the divine, Eros and Aphrodite and Hermes, and just all of you in the physical and in the non-physical. And we're helping me fulfill my role, my sacred contracts, my work as a mystical artist, teacher, healer, lover, witch, hero, all that on a side of archetypal prize. And may all of us be blessed. And may this work be a blessing upon the world, shifting us to the golden timeline, which can be delayed but not prevented, the anchoring of permanent paradise planet Earth, heaven on earth, Valhalla returned, whatever you want to call it, a better world, more guidance, grace, love, wisdom, and power, and unity consciousness anchored here, so that we know we're one. We don't look that way, but we know it, and act accordingly. open hearts, clear minds, open 1,000-petaled chakras for our well-being and for the well-being of all. Thank you so much. I love you. As we will it. So let it be done. So motivating. Do you know I have to put on the theme music? Let it go. Did you like it? I hope you did. I hope you liked it because I had fun doing it. And there's a lot on my plate right now. So I'm grateful that I had the energy and the guidance and the grace to pull this puppy off. And certainly if you're catching this on YouTube and you want the advanced, you want all that cool stuff, just click the link. Come Patreon on Patreon. Slowly but surely building a lovely community over there. And I'm just going to keep expanding. I'm just going to keep doing it. I love it lots. And certainly if you enjoyed this video on YouTube, please like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. Because it helps other people find it. Just that. Get my work out there if you wanna. Otherwise, thank you so much. Wishing you all the very, very best and the very blessed of this MABON autumnal equinox, September 2022, or whenever you're watching this. You know why? Because I love you. Hail, farewell, and blessed be.